The total solar eclipse. For thousands of years, humans have been recording this awe-inspiring celestial event. Today, we'll get another chance when the moon crosses in front of the sun and completely blocks it out, sending part of the U.S. into darkness. Only a select area of the country will be in the path of totality that cuts across the U.S. from Texas into Maine.
In a matter of minutes, it will go from a sunny afternoon to total darkness. People all over the country have traveled to witness this rare and, for many, once-in-a-lifetime experience. Incredible, emotional, spiritual. All of the words people have used to describe what's about to happen. We are going to take you through this event minute by minute, showing you how people all over the U.S. are marking this momentous occasion.
Solar Eclipse 2024 is proudly brought to you by ACES.
Welcome to NBC Connecticut's special live coverage of the 2024 solar eclipse. We're so glad you're here with us. I'm Keisha Grant.
And I'm Kevin Nathan. I didn't get one of those jackets to work in with the color scheme. That works today, Keish. I hope you're going to enjoy our coverage. It's going to continue with us here and on our streaming channel and those tuning in on television. We're about to take you across the country and across Connecticut to witness a rare event, a total solar eclipse.
What a special day. After today, it's something we won't see here in the U.S. for another 20 years. Think about that for a moment. Over the next 2 hours, we'll be watching the path of totality go from Texas to Maine. Only areas in that narrow path will see the total solar eclipse, where the moon will completely block out the sun.
And we're going to take you live along that path today. Chief Meteorologist Ryan Hanrahan is in Dallas, Texas. Meteorologist Bob Maxson will be in Lake Placid, New York, but we'll also be taking you live to Little Rock, Arkansas, Carbondale, Illinois, Indianapolis, and Holton, Maine. That's the last place in the United States out of the whole country that will experience the solar eclipse that we're so excited to see today. And we've got you covered across the country and across Connecticut, Keish.
Here in Connecticut, Kevin, our crews are across the state seeing how you are experiencing this moment. Kevin Geis is in stores where UConn is holding a watch party today. Jolie Sherman is at the Talcott Mountain Science Center in Avon with Snow Monster. And Jackie Post is in Middletown, where the Wesleyan University's astronomy department is holding a watch party today. Also, we've got meteorologist Anthony Carpino in the NBC Connecticut Barnyard studio to help us all understand the science behind what is happening today, the science behind this phenomenon.
And it's not just science. We need a good weather day today on some level. So let's start with meteorologist Anthony Carpino, because Anthony, cloudy weather today could really affect people's ability to get sort of the full effect of the eclipse.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, guys. The clouds are going to make or break today as you're heading out the door. Right now, at least here in West Hartford, we still have sunny skies, but those clouds, well, they are starting to move in. We've noticed some high, thin cirrus clouds that have started to move overhead, but I do want to start off with a wide look at the country right now. Across the eastern half of the country, we're not the only ones that are seeing those clouds start to move into the region. Let's go ahead and look at that map right now, where we do see those clouds stretching across a good majority of the country. One of those places I want to zoom into is going to be in Houston, the Dallas area, where they actually have some of those clouds overhead. You actually can end up seeing that path of totality that will stretch, like you guys mentioned, from Texas all the way into the Northeast and eventually ending in Maine here in the U.S., but continuing on into Canada. So let's take a closer look at the Texas area right now. And we do see that path of totality going through the Dallas area. That's where we find Storm Tracker meteorologist, Chief Meteorologist Ryan Hanrahan. He's there. They've been dealing with a few patchy clouds today up in sections of New York. Well, that's where we have Bob Maxson. He's also seeing those clouds get a little bit closer. But even with those clouds, they're in for a fantastic show. We're talking about, for them at least, darkening of the sky. Now, it would be great if we saw complete sunny skies for them. but they will still get a good show regardless. For us here in Connecticut, we are expecting about 92% of the sun to be covered by the moon. Now that means it won't get completely dark here. We'll notice it getting a little bit dimmer. The temperatures will drop by a few degrees, and then things will become a little bit more bright as the eclipse wraps up here by about 4:37. So it's going to be a fantastic next couple of hours. If you don't have them already, grab your eclipse glasses. You want to be using those the entire time if you're looking at the sun here in Connecticut. And if it's not during totality, you want to make sure you have those eclipse glasses on as well. A couple other things that you can do. You can also have a pinhole projector. We made those a couple of times throughout the week. You can use one of those to indirectly look at the eclipse. And there's a whole bunch of other things that you can use to help see the event today. We'll talk more about that coming up over the next couple of hours. For now, guys, I want to send things back over to you.
Anthony, thanks. So much excitement around here today. We want to see certainly how you out there are viewing the eclipse, whether it's at a watch party or maybe right in your backyard. Please send us your pictures or videos by tagging NBC Connecticut on social media, where you can email them to share@nbcconnecticut.com. Make sure to include just a brief, short little description with it.
You may even see them here on the air as we follow this great event. And if you have any questions about the solar eclipse, and quite frankly, Kev, who doesn't have questions, right?
Lots of them.
Yeah, well, send those to us. Again, tag us on social media, and we will get right to work getting your questions answered. Let's start our live coverage in Texas, though. That is where the solar eclipse will begin its path through the U.S. Totality in Dallas is just about 35 minutes away.
Talk about questions. This guy has answers, Keith.
Yes,
she has
he
been
does.
so amped up for this for months. Chief Meteorologist Ryan Hanrahan is at the Perot Museum of Nature and Science, where they're holding a big event for the eclipse. Ryan, what's going on there right now?
Well, all eyes are on the clouds, guys, because here in the path of totality, we want to get the clouds to clear out. Now, what has happened in the last 10 or 15 minutes or so is, as expected, temperatures have begun to drop. It's gotten noticeably cooler here as the moon is beginning to block the sun. I'm going to put on my solar eclipse glasses here. My photographer, Jose, put on a filter on his camera so you can see what we're looking at here now. So as we pan up, you can see a pretty good chunk taken out of the sun there by the moon. It's coming in from the right. It's moving from right to left there. And if you look closely, you can see a few little wispy clouds moving in front of it. But if we're able to keep the clouds at bay like this, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape for the eclipse. That's about total solar eclipse. That's about a half an hour away. And guys, one of the things that is just so cool about something like this is that we have met people from all over the country and all over the world that have come into the path of totality. And it's one of the few days where everyone in the United States can sort of rally around one thing and can have a shared experience, and that is an eclipse and science and just how amazing our solar system is. And it almost makes you feel sort of small in the world, in the solar system, that we have this incredible sight going on right now. So as temperatures drop here in Dallas, we're hoping that these clouds will continue to dissipate. We've got these little cumulus clouds that are around, and cumulus clouds form when there's warm air at the ground that rises. You get these clouds to begin to pop up. Now, as temperatures drop, once you start to get the moon to cover the sun, you get less radiation from the sun, and those clouds tend to dissipate. So we got a few out here right now, but we're hopeful that we're going to get a pretty good show coming up in just a little bit. I want to send things out to meteorologist Bob Maxon. He is up in Lake Placid. And Bob, we're battling the cumulus clouds here in Texas. You've got some cirrus clouds up there. How do things look right now?
Hey, Ryan, it's great to see you. And I'm so happy that your low clouds have kind of parted and you're just dealing with the scattered cumulus clouds. Here, it's a really thin veil of cirrus clouds, so I think we are in great shape. And right now, we're 3 to 7 minutes from that first contact when the moon just starts to take a little bite out of the sun. So people are starting to get a little excited. Now, Ryan is at the Science Museum there, and it's a big deal, right? I mean, there's music and thousands of people. Here in Lake Placid, I'm at the Whiteface Club and Resort, and it's, instead of having a big festival, we have groups of friends. We have groups of friends and families. We have people celebrating birthdays on one side of me, and everyone's just kind of getting ready. It's more of a kind of a spiritual thing instead of like a big party, and it's really quite cool, and I'm really looking forward to experiencing totality here with my new friends. I have new friends from all over the Northeast. Many of of them have residences here at the Whiteface Club, and it is such a picturesque place to be for this. I mean, as I look off to the left of the camera, and we'll show this to you later in the afternoon, we have Whiteface Mountain sitting over the beautiful, Lake Placid is gorgeous. We're about 5 minutes out of town, where it is a real festival, a real party. But we thought this might be a really cool way to just take in the solar eclipse of 2024 and just kind of enjoy really how it's just how science and how nature changes during totality, and I cannot wait. This is my first, and by looking at the calendar, probably my only chance for totality, unless I'm going to travel somewhere else in the world. So to have totality right here in upstate New York, where I'm from, oddly enough, is really quite special. I have some family members who are up on the golf course here, and they're watching it and celebrating totality themselves. But it's just really kind of, I'm more excited than I thought I would be. As I've been up here for a couple of days, you really get this vibe of energy, and I can't wait, because in a couple of hours I'll be able to turn. I got my glasses, and I'll be able to turn and watch totality, and we'll see darkness overspread this region. And we are in right in the center of totality. For over 3.5 minutes, we will be dark, and we're going to be looking for things like the possibility of a 360-degree sunset, and that's what one of the phenomenons that happens, and that would be amazing up here in the mountains. We're also going to be looking off to the left of the sun to see the comet that you can't see with the naked eye, but once you take away the bright sun and energy from the sun, we'll be able to see a comet and some other planets, and all of this is just going to be amazing. Of course, we'll see how nature responds to animals and birds, and they'll roost thinking that it's sunset, right? It's time to go to bed, right? And instead, we'll see the reverse when the totality ends and we start heading back toward normalcy. So we are up here live in Lake Placid, and it is we're on the cusp. Ryan already has that chunk of the sun missing. We're about a minute and a half away from first contact, according to my computer, and I can't wait to turn with my glasses and see this begin. So with that in mind, Kevin and Keisha, we'll send it back to you.
When you think about the fact, Bob, that this will be your first eclipse in totality, the fact that you're at home and in that beautiful, serene environment, are you prepared for the overwhelming feeling that your senses are about to get?
You know what, Keisha, that's a really interesting question, because how do we know? We've never experienced this, so how do we know how we're going to react? I've been trying to prepare a lot of folks here about what they can expect, from a science angle. But what about emotions? What about spirituality? And what about the fact that, like Ryan said, we're so tiny. We're so tiny in this solar system, in this universe, and today everything lines up perfectly. And just on a weather note. All right, if you've spent any time in northern Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, upstate New York, western and central New York, you know that April is really quite cruddy. It is cloudy, it is damp, it is dreary. Up here, they call it mud season for a reason. Earlier last week, we had a foot of snow on the ground here. In the last 2 days, almost all of that snow has melted away. That's the definition of mud season. Climatologically speaking, 77% of April ACE are considered overcast. So we're sitting here. I have sunscreen on because we've been out here for hours, and the snow is melting away, and we just have this thin veil of cirrus cloudiness. So we are in a great spot for all of this. But to answer your question, Keisha, I really do not know how I'm going to react.
And Bob doesn't even realize, Keish, that shot we're seeing with you, Bob, was totality, or at least partial totality, in part of Mexico.
Yes.
There. Ryan, I want to bring you back in. You talk about the temperature drop. You guys are so good at forecasting. What is the disparity in Dallas for warmest to what the coldest will be today? And I'm curious for Bob, too, but we'll start with you, Ryan. How big of a temperature drop are we talking about?
Well, we can already feel it, so I'm guessing we've probably dropped about 3 or 4 degrees already, and we'll probably get down to about 8 degrees where we were. So we were expecting a high of around 80. We're going to go, I'd say, into the low 70s when we get to totality. And to sort of piggyback off what Bob said and what you asked, Bob, Kevin, and Keisha, one of the things, I was in Charleston, South Carolina for the 2017 eclipse. I was in totality there. And what struck me the most was that it was one of the few things that really sort of wows every single one of your senses. You see something that you've never seen before. You hear birds sort of going nuts in the middle of the afternoon. You can feel, like to the touch, you can feel the breeze kicking up and temperatures getting cooler. And it's really hard to describe. It's it's almost creepy in some ways. It's a little eerie, but it's also awe-inspiring and magical. And I'm super excited for Bob to get to do this for the first time. When I did it in 2017, I was excited for it, but I don't think my expectations were not like through the roof. And then after I went through it, I thought that was the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And I was with a lot of people who are not meteorologists, and they were like, Ryan, you're such a geek. I can't believe you're dragging us all to South Carolina for this, to see the moon. And they were all just like jaw dropped, like, whoa, what just happened? So it's going to be great, and we just need these clouds to keep going away. We're looking okay. I think we're going to be in good shape. But Bob, what is the feeling up there in Lake Placid from the people that you've seen? I imagine you've seen people come from all over the place to try to get there. What do you think people are most excited about?
You know what? It's the unknown, Ryan. It's the unknown they're excited about. I get a total sensation of that in chatting with all these folks here at the resort, is that they really don't know what to expect. Just like you were saying, all of their senses will be touched. The sense of the colder temperatures, the breezes, the darkness, the sounds, everything. And I think I'm most excited to experience my unknowns with others who have never experienced it before. There were a couple people I chatted with yesterday who have been to other parts of the world during totality. Some of them traveled in 17 and said, you don't even know what you can't even prepare yourself for what you're going to experience. So around here, as I mentioned earlier, downtown, it's a party. Right, downtown's 5 miles away. In Dallas, festival, party atmosphere. Here, it is so cool to see families and friends, and now everyone's starting to look up because we've reached first contact here, so we're starting to see a little bit of that sun become obscured by the moon, and it's so far so good. And let me just check it out myself here. Let me get my glasses on, and oh yeah, we got it's only a couple percentage of the sun disk from the lower right side, or the western side of the sun is starting to become obscured. And as we get a little deeper into it, we'll do the same thing Ryan did. We'll get that filter on, and we'll show you a live picture of what's occurring here in Lake Placid. Back to you guys.
We're looking forward to that. And of course, we are being told that the eclipse has started here in Connecticut. We're going to get to Anthony Carpino coming up shortly to get the latest on that. But, you know, our team of Storm Tracker meteorologists, as you see, they're fanned out across the country for the solar eclipse. Anthony, Bob, Ryan, we will come back to all of you in just a moment. What a special experience.
Sure
there.
is.
We want to check in now with our other crews across the state.
And as we do, just for context, because maybe you're just paying attention to all this now, the eclipse has begun here. It's a partial eclipse in Connecticut. We haven't had a total eclipse here since 1925. We won't have another total eclipse in Connecticut until the year 2079. In any given place on the planet, it's about once every 400 years you get a total eclipse. So that's why it's so special for people today.
Absolutely. We're expecting 92% today here in Connecticut. And Anthony's going to tell us more about what we can expect out of that. Also, Kevin Geis.
Yep.
NBC Connecticut's Kevin Geis. He's joining us live now on the UConn campus in Stores, where there's a viewing party for this very rare event.
Yeah, Kev, set the scene for us. How are folks gearing up? Well, there's a basketball game tonight, but for now, for the solar eclipse.
Yeah, Kevin, Keisha, it's the solar eclipse first, and it might not be a total solar eclipse, but as you can see behind me, there is still a lot of action up here. People are just flowing up Horse Barn Hill, excited to see the eclipse, excited to see, what this has to offer and experience what 90% coverage looks like. I'm joined by Professor Jonathan Trump. You're with the physics department, but you're also a astronomy professor. So to start, I'll ask you the hardest question right off the bat. What is an eclipse, and why is it so special?
Yeah, so today we have a solar eclipse where the sun and the moon line up just right. The moon blocks the light of the sun from reaching us here on the Earth. Yeah, so when this happens, it only happens along a narrow path of the Earth. We are lucky here in Stores, here at Yukon on Horsebarn Hill. We're going to have 92% occultation. 92% of the sun will be blocked by the moon today.
Absolutely. And you have so many people you've invited here to come view this with the university community. But tell me a little bit about what you folks are planning, why you're so excited, and what you are hoping people get a chance to see.
Yeah, so a solar eclipse like today, it's just a wonderful event in our natural world. You know, it's an unusual thing. It's quite rare. You know, the next time we're going to have an eclipse here in Connecticut that's going to cover up as much of the sun as today is 2079. Right, so mark it on your calendars. Yeah, so I'm just really, really excited to share my love of space, my love of celestial phenomena with everybody here at UConn.
Absolutely. And this is something we've talked about before, but having sort of a community viewing party like this, so you've mentioned that there really is nothing like enjoying sort of a celestial anomaly like an eclipse. Talk to me about what this means for folks who maybe aren't scientists and are just here to enjoy something that you love so much.
Yeah, so my favorite part of a day like today is just everybody getting together and enjoying the science, right? That's what this is. This is physics, right? It's the Earth revolving around the sun, the moon revolving around the Earth, you know, and just all lining up to a very, very special event. Yeah.
And you brought some tools here, I see, as well, something to view the eclipse, and you have your eclipse glasses. Of course, it's always safety first if you're watching it at home. Talk to me a little bit about what this equipment is. It's so simple, but it's something that allows people to safely view the eclipse.
Absolutely. So the very most important thing to say is do not look at the eclipse with your naked eyes. You will leave permanent damage on your eye. Avoid that, absolutely. Yeah, so I have a pair of eclipse glasses. You know these work if you look through them and you see nothing except for the sun. All right, so there we go. Yep, and I can see the eclipse has already begun here in Connecticut, just a little chunk of the lower right of the sun being eaten away by the moon. I also have a very easy, simple tool right here, a pinhole box camera, right? So just cut out a hole for your eye, put some aluminum foil. I like it because it's thin, makes a nice pinhole instead of a pin tunnel. Line up that hole with the sun, and you'll see a nice projection of the sun in the back of your box. Very safe and easy way if you don't have a pair of glasses like this.
Absolutely. Something safe and easy, always exciting. Now, we'll be back with you in just a little bit to talk to some more science, some of the phenomenon that come with an eclipse. But we're going to go check in with a lot of people around here and see how they're feeling as the moon just ever so slightly is starting to cover the sun. For now, we're live here in Stores. Kevin Geis, NBC Connecticut News. Kev, Keisha, we're going to send it back to you.
Proof that we are all in for such a treat.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting an afternoon science class from Professor Trump at UConn. Kevin, thank you. We'll see you in a bit. Let's head to Avon now. The Talcott Mountain Science Center and Academy is holding a solar eclipse festival called A Bit of the Sun.
And that is where we find NBC Connecticut's Jolie Sherman joining us. And Jolie, we see you're standing by with our very own snow monster. What's going on there? Oh, decked out in his
Kevin,
solar
Keisha.
glasses.
Yeah, it is. You are absolutely right. You can really feel the energy and excitement in the air here at the Science Center. And we are told that about 250 people will be here to watch the eclipse, to witness a really cool event in nature. And we couldn't leave Snow Monster out of it. As you mentioned, he is wearing his solar eclipse glasses, and it can't be stated enough. In order to safely view the sun during the eclipse today, these solar eclipse glasses must be on. I'm going to take a look at the sun right now, and as we've mentioned, the eclipse has started. We are really starting to see the moon move across the sun's face. It is all so cool. So we are ready with our glasses. Snow Monster is ready with his, and so is the Nordy family. They have their glasses in hand. We're joined by Marcia and Everett today. Everett, you go to school here, which is so fun and cool, and you have your glasses ready to go. Can you put them on your face for us and tell me what you're seeing?
I'm seeing a little bit of the sun disappearing.
Yeah, where do you see the moon kind of move? Is it in the bottom right corner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of cool, right? What is this? Are you excited about today? What does today mean to you?
It means a lot of excitement.
Yeah, and Marcia, you came all the way from Idaho to see your grandchildren and also be here on Eclipse Day. How does today make you feel?
Fortunate. It's very exciting to be here for their spring break, and this is happening. And I actually saw the one in 2017 in Idaho, which was a total eclipse. So
that's cool.
I feel like I'm in the right place at the right time.
That's great. Oh, you're just catching these eclipses as they come. That's wonderful. Again, the eclipse has already started. This is such a cool event. As you know, that Connecticut isn't in the path of totality, but we do know that the moon will cover most of the sun. It is so exciting, and so much is going on here today in the Science Center. We have crafts inside. You can see people have already made themselves comfortable. They've set up lawn chairs. There's food trucks here too, all to bring in a really exciting day, Eclipse Day. For now, live in Avon, Jolie Sherman, NBC Connecticut News.
Jolie, thank you. And what we love to see, I know that's gorgeous.
It really is.
Love to see the people coming out. Love to see everyone, right? Not just the children, getting a lesson here as you check out this camera of the eclipse. And this is partial here. This is in Arkansas. Looks like Russellville. What a gorgeous view.
I don't know how you got your jacket to match that color. That is amazing.
Well,
seriously,
you know,
spot on.
In anticipation of.
I think you planned this a little bit.
Just a little. We do want to take you to Middletown right now, where Wesleyan University is holding a viewing party with Russell Library.
Our colleague Jackie Post joins us live from Wesleyan. Jackie, what's the scene like where you are in Middletown?
Well, hi there, Kevin and Keisha. It is such a scene here. I can't even tell you. It seems like it's the same theme throughout all of our live shots, and that is that there's a lot of excitement, a lot of energy here. People really did not mess around when they came out. There are people in lawn chairs. They have snacks. They have tables, you name it. And they were actually earlier playing a solar eclipse mix. So it was a combination of sun, moon, and solar songs, which was really cool. Got everybody in the mood. Joining us right now to talk more about what's happening here is Asmain. He is actually in charge of this event, and he is a postdoc researcher here at Wesleyan. Asmain, thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
So tell me a little bit about what's going on here today and what people can expect.
Yeah, so today we have a really great event. We have 4 solar telescopes out here that people can look through with solar filters. Definitely do not look at the sun with your naked eyes. A lot of people here are wearing solar eclipse glasses, which help protect their eyes and allow them to observe the eclipse. The eclipse will last between 2:30 and 4:30 today, and we have lots of other activities as well. We have hundreds of people here today, and we have the Russell Library is giving out books to check out, astronomy books. And inside the observatory, we also have a planetarium, and we are also streaming the eclipse live from NASA TV as well.
That's so great. Now, I know that this was actually listed on NASA's website as one of the best places to view the eclipse, so that's pretty exciting for you guys. What's it like studying all these years astronomy and then to have this event happen?
Oh, it's it's almost like a spiritual kind of experience. It's to see with your own eyes, the wonders of nature. This eclipse is pretty amazing, because the next total eclipse that you'll see from New England will be in 2079. So we're very fortunate to be able to see this eclipse right now.
All right, Asmain, well, thanks so much, and have fun, enjoy it, because it's certainly exciting for you. As I mentioned, this is actually listed on NASA's website as one of the locations that is best to view the eclipse, and it really is a prime location. You've got this big open field so people can sit and enjoy, and obviously this historic observatory as well. So people are getting very excited. One woman next to us actually just said, oh, wait, I just looked through my glasses and you can see it starting. So they are definitely waiting and super excited. Back to you guys.
What afternoon class at Wesleyan? I think everyone's kind of blowing that off, right, Jackie? All right, Jackie Post live for us in Middletown. I think they have the day off.
They're allowed to today. Everyone keeps mentioning the glasses, and we have to mention that the solar eclipse glasses.
Let's rock them. Let's see what you got here.
Well, they are thousands of times darker.
Really?
1,000 times darker, yeah, than regular sunshade. So
what happens when you look at them in here? Do you see?
Well, go ahead. You don't see anything.
Oh, really?
But you will hear often throughout our coverage, don't you dare look at the sun without proper protection, and this is why. So either make the pinhole projector, or you have to have solar eclipse glasses. It's so important for the health of your eyes.
And beyond the incredible view of the solar eclipse is kind of how it changes our surroundings.
Absolutely. Ryan mentioned this from Dallas, Texas. The sun is our main heat source, so when it gets blocked out, it gets cooler. Here in Connecticut, 92% of the sun will be blocked out. We've seen this in past solar eclipses. Meteorologist Darren Sweeney has a look.
So we have learned how and why a solar eclipse happens, but when we block out our heat source, the sun, even for a short time, does it impact our weather? The answer is a resounding yes. Losing the sun, even partially, can have big impacts on our local weather conditions.
The sun, it is what drives the Earth's climate. Wind patterns, storms, rainfall, evaporation, clouds are all driven by the heat that comes from the sun. And when the sun gets blocked by the moon's shadow, it begins to change your local weather. Even though the sun is blocked for only a short time, the temperature, especially in places that see the total eclipse, can drop some 4 to 10 degrees. Let's take the 1994 annular eclipse as an example. These observations were taken by meteorologist Bob Hart, a weather observer in North Branford. The numbers tell the story. At 12:15 p.m. at the start of the eclipse, the temperature was 69.1 degrees. At 1:05 p.m., the temperature dropped to 66.4 degrees. And by 1:39 p.m., when the moon's shadow covered 85% of the sun, the temperature bottomed out at 61.9 degrees. That's just over a 7-degree drop in temperature. And notice how the numbers rise quickly once the sun returns, back to 67 degrees by 3 p.m. And since temperature is one of the main factors that influence wind, local changes in wind direction and speed have also been observed from past eclipses. A change in temperature can have an impact on cloud formation. Cumulus clouds, for example, are fair weather clouds which form by changes in temperature in the atmosphere. Remember that drop in temperature we just talked about? Take a look at this satellite loop taken during the 2017 eclipse. As the sun goes away, notice how the clouds dissipate and the skies clear, even if just temporarily. The clouds reform once the sun returns.
As you can see, all the elements that make up our weather are connected and driven by the sun. So not only will you be able to see changes in light, now you know you'll be able to feel change in our weather. Happy viewing. Darren Sweeney, NBC Connecticut News.
Happy viewing. And you know, we touched on this, but we can't stress it enough. Eye safety. It's so important during the eclipse because while it may be a visual wonder, fact of the matter is it could harm your sight. Always have those eclipse glasses when viewing it. The only time you can take them off is if you're in the path of totality and for those brief minutes when the sun is completely blocked out. And don't try to shoot it with your smartphone because you could damage the lens. According to NASA, the larger, faster lenses that get better resolution could be susceptible to damage. They recommend using a solar filter, which is what is on all of our cameras.
And as we mentioned, when it comes to our state here in Connecticut, we won't be in the path of totality today, like 92%. But it has been nearly 100 years since we were in the path of totality. You got to go back to January 24th of 1925. In fact, Keach, I think we'll both be retired the next time we have totality in Connecticut, May 1st, 2079. Take a look here at some pictures from the day as folks stopped what they were doing to check out the incredible sight from Willimantic. The path of totality that day divided New York City. A total eclipse was only visible above 96th Street, and a partial eclipse was visible farther downtown. Wow. And the last time the state saw an eclipse this big, you got to go back to 1994, 30 years ago. 85% of the sun was covered by the moon. People stocked up on their glasses, and schools across Connecticut threw viewing parties. The last time we had a total eclipse so close to Connecticut, you got to go back to March 7th, 1970, when totality moved across Nantucket.
Folks, we are walking you through history today, and we're so glad that you're along for the ride for this event. We're getting closer to totality in Dallas, Texas, the largest city that's going to be in the path of totality today. That is where our live team coverage of this great event will go next.
Yeah, we're really just getting started. The good stuff hasn't even happened. And before that, we're going to take a quick pause. Our coverage of the solar eclipse continues right after this.
The Yard Goats are back. And before they take the field, join NBC Connecticut as we cover all the bases on opening night. Get live reports from Duncan Park and check out everything the Yard Goats have to offer their fans. Hear from the new manager and the players and find out what's new at the ballpark. Catch all the fun from opening night in Hartford. The Yard Goats are back. Tomorrow night at 7 on NBC Connecticut. And watch free on our streaming channel on Roku, Fire TV, Samsung TV Plus, and more.
Not 4 years.
Not 5, not 6.
But 7. Most accurate, 7 years in a row and counting.
The NBC Connecticut Storm Tracker team brings you the state's most accurate forecast.
So who's keeping track? It's called Weather Rate.
Their analysts compare all the forecasts in the state.
And we get it right more than anyone else.
Count on your Storm Tracker forecast at home or on the go.
Certified most accurate, 7 years in a row. Who else can make that claim?
No one.
Nonprofits continue to help our community. We're stepping up to help them. NBC and Telemundo Connecticut are supporting positive change through local impact grants. A grant challenge powered by Comcast NBC Universal, awarding over $227,000 to deserving local nonprofits in these categories. Local impact grants award unrestricted funding to organizations that are tackling everyday problems. Apply by April 19th at nbcconnecticut.com/grants.
Your world. Every weeknight. Connecticut. And farther away. The stories we're all living through. And the changes they bring. All in 1 hour. Your world. NBC Connecticut News at 6. NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt at 6:30. Connecting you every weeknight.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the solar eclipse. Want to pass along a note here. Harkness Park and Camp Harkness in Waterford are at capacity. According to the Waterford Police Department, they're no longer allowing cars in. It appears people are gathering to view the eclipse naturally, so please avoid those areas for the next few hours. And again, welcome back to our coverage of the solar eclipse. We're going to head to Dallas, Texas. In about 5 minutes, the moon will completely block out the sun.
This is where the total solar eclipse starts here in our country, and Chief Meteorologist Ryan Hanrahan is there bringing us this moment from Perot Museum of Nature and Science. Ryan, we checked in with you about half hour ago. You noticed that the temperature was getting a lot cooler. As you inch closer to totality, what are you seeing now? What are you experiencing?
It's such a weird feeling. Like, you just feel the chill in the air. The light is super flat. Your shadows are just super crisp. And guys, we're going to do it. We are going to have clear sky for the eclipse. I was a little concerned that we would not, but these clouds have just melted away. We saw in Darren's story just a little bit ago how when temperatures drop, you get the clouds to dissipate. And it had gone from pretty much a broken layer of cumulus clouds to now pretty much completely clear where the sun is. So we're going to be in totality soon. We've got about, it looks like 3 minutes, got a countdown clock over there, and that's when totality is going to happen. So I want to walk you through what we're going to see when we get to totality. The other thing, actually, let me mention this, and Jose, I don't know if you want to pan around. I know we're going to see some of the other TV crews here. Our friends from KXAS in Dallas are over there, but everyone is just sort of quiet right now. I thought it'd be a little more jubilant ahead of time, but it's almost this sense of anticipation, and people are just taking it in, and it's a very, very odd sensation as you get ready to totality. So the sun right now is about, I'd say about probably 95 to 96% covered, which is about what you'll get in Connecticut. And we're going to be very close to totality soon. We got about 2 minutes. So let me go through what we're going to see here coming up in about 2 minutes as we go into totality. So it's going to start out with what we call Bailey's beads. And what Bailey's beads are, there's the lunar surface, the moon has mountains and valleys, just like the Earth does. So it's not a crisp edge. It's not a perfect sphere like a globe would be, but there's sort of bumps up and down it. So you get these little beads of light as the moon completely covers the sun. So we're going to see that first. And then we get the diamond ring effect, and that is when you've got your last contact with the moon and the sun, and you get this flash of bright light, and that is when totality begins. And let me look at my watch here. All right, so we're getting closer, about a little more than about a minute and a half maybe, and it's getting very dark right now. And then so once we get that, then we get totality, and what you'll see in totality will be, and we'll be able to show that we don't need a filter to show you totality. I don't need these anymore either. You can look at it with the naked eye. And when you get to totality, we're going to see the sun's corona. It's the atmosphere around the sun. It's extremely hot plasma. It's like 1,000,000 degrees Celsius. So more than that Fahrenheit. And that is the Earth's, the sun's atmosphere. We normally can't see it because the sun is so bright, but during an eclipse, when we're covering the sun with the moon, you can see the atmosphere. So I'm just going to put these on. Just look up. All right, we got a tiny little sliver left. We're almost there. We're getting very, very close. And so that's going to be the, we'll see the corona. And then after the corona, then we do the whole thing in reverse. We get the diamond ring, and then we get Bailey's beads. One thing that people are very excited, and we will be in totality here in Dallas for, I believe, 3 minutes and 49 seconds, which is actually quite a long time for a solar eclipse. And we are getting very close. It is... I'm shocked at how quiet it is, which is actually really cool, Keisha and Kevin.
Ryan,
people are just sort of waiting for it.
Well, I was just going to say it's almost eerie because we saw the party atmosphere there in the city of Dallas ahead of time. And now it just sort of seems like kumbaya amongst everyone out there.
And look how dark that shot is getting, too. You can already see it getting darker there.
Yes, we saw the shadow on your face, Ryan. Everything getting darker.
Yeah, we're about... That's the diamond ring, I believe. Yes, that is the diamond ring. I don't know if you can see that in whatever shot we're taking, but you can hear that cheer go up. All right, so that is the last bit of sunlight. I still have my glasses on for this, but we're almost there. So that's the last bit of sunlight you're going to see. And we're almost there. We've probably got another 15 seconds here, and you can hear the crowd just getting excited. Oh. And it is pitch dark right now. I mean, it is nighttime.
Unbelievable.
Oh, my goodness. And there we go. Wow. Oh, my goodness. Oh. That is, whoo. That is, and it is, it's hard to put into words, guys. I mean, it is one of the most beautiful things you'll ever see. You can see the corona, which is the sun's atmosphere. The lights for some of the buildings around the apartments are coming on outside. So you can see those wisps coming off the sun. That is the, that's the corona. So that's the plasma coming off the sun. We can also see Jupiter to the right of the sun right now. And it is like nighttime. I'm standing in the middle, pitch dark nighttime in Dallas. And Jose is shooting it for us so we can see. And if you look closely, you might be able to see these little kind of like red dots along the side. I don't know if can you see that, guys? These little red beads along the side.
It's very
I'm not sure
tough.
It's a little bit.
We can see them.
Yeah, so those are called prominence. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, so those are called prominences, and those are basically like solar flares coming off the sun's surface. And oh, it is so cool. And people are just standing. It is breathtaking. Just looking around, what's cool is, and I can't show this to you, but one of the craziest things is I'm doing a 360-degree look around right now, looking around downtown Dallas, and there is a sunrise, or a sunset, I guess, in every single direction. So you've got this complete circle of sunrise or sunset around you. And I'm telling you, I mean, 2044 is 20 years away, but make your plans. I saw what was it? I saw 2017 in Charleston, but we had some clouds. So this is the real deal. This is, without a doubt, the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. I've been able to do a lot of amazing things in my life, and I've been able to travel. And this is just something that is, it's hard to put into words, but I'm glad we have a camera so you can see it.
Got a little more than a minute to go of totality with Ryan Hanrahan, our chief meteorologist in Dallas, Texas. Ryan mentioned during totality is when, if you're there live, you can actually look at the sun during that totality. Ryan, how much colder did it get there in the last couple of minutes?
It is chilly. I mean, it's cool enough now that you would put on a light jacket if you were going out. And before, it was hot before. I mean, it was like 80 degrees. But the crazy thing is the sun. The clouds. I was going to say the clouds have just gone away totally. because we got that cooler air, so we got everything to go away. And we can see, if you, Jose, if you turn the light off, if we can look up, you can see there's like a solar flare on the bottom. There's this red dot.
Yes.
And that is a flare coming off the sun. Yeah, so that's it. So that's what we call a prominence, and that is basically this plasma that's extremely hot, that's tangled up in the sun's crazy magnetic fields, and you get these flashes of red coming off. So to be able to in the middle of the day, to see a planet and to see the sun, and it's just the coolest thing, guys. It is amazing.
We can hear it in your voice. We can see it through the camera's lens there. And I got to tell you, it feels, when I said that it was breathtaking, we can only imagine partly what you're feeling, Ryan, because we feel like it feels, at least for me, like heart flutters. It's that amazing to see.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
So to be out there, we can only imagine you must be over the moon.
And are people crying,
So,
Ryan?
guys, I mean, I'm not a crier, but I did tear up. And we've got the diamond ring coming, so there you go.
Oh,
look at that.
Unbelievable.
How incredible. So you got to put the glasses back on for the, oh, man. Wow.
Keisha, you know your diamond rings. It's pretty impressive.
Listen, don't make me weep.
I was gonna say, Keisha, that's a diamond ring that you'd be envious of.
Now
I love
that's a
that.
stunner, Ryan.
Garrett, to get on it. Let's go.
Yeah.
I want one like the moon and the sun.
Your husband's gonna have to get a second job, I think, for that one. Wow. I mean, and now the sun's coming back out. We're heading back to daytime, and we're going to see the clouds coming back in here. And we've got some people here that I have no idea if they want to talk to us or not. But hey, can we interview you very quickly? Sure. All right. What did you think?
It was really cool, especially with the coronal view around the outside of it, and the quality of the light's just super interesting.
Was it cooler than you thought it would be?
Absolutely, and I really enjoyed the solar flares.
Yeah, you can see the little red dots coming off, right? Oh, you guys from Dallas? Where are you from?
We're from Plano.
Oh, Plano. Okay.
She's from Kansas. I'm visiting from KU. I drove down.
Worth the drive?
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, congrats for the experience. And yeah, we're back. We're back to daylight, guys. It is amazing. It is. I think I was saying this the other day on the news. I don't remember. Maybe it was to Kevin, but you know, I'm 40 years old, and I'm 39 actually. But every morning and every night for your entire life, 365 days a year for 39 years, the sun comes up in the morning and the sun goes down at night. And you get one time in your life, if you're lucky, to get a second sunrise and sunset in the day. And to see something that most human beings will never be lucky enough to see. And it's just it's an incredible shared experience that you have with all these people. And for me as the meteorologist, I was talking to an astronomer earlier, and I said, all right, you did your part. You got the moon to go in front of the sun. Great. Now, the meteorologist, I got to do my part. I got to get these clouds out of here. And we did it. And so I thought a couple days ago, I was like, I don't know if Dallas is going to be the best for this. But we got it. And it's hard not to do anything other than smile. It is awesome.
Wow. Yeah, you certainly got it, Ryan. And now cue the music. The music is back. The party atmosphere is back. Ryan, very quickly, top 10 experiences for you. And Bob, we know that's headed your way, buddy. But top 10 experiences for you. Where does this fall, Ryan?
Oh, this is up there. I mean, I think it's one of the things that that you really can't describe. It's just unlike anything else you get to experience. It's crazy. It's just it's so cool, and it's actually just like a fluke thing that this is able to happen, because the sun is 400 times farther away from us than the moon is, and the sun is also 400 times bigger than the moon. So it's just sort of like a fluke when the solar system came together 6 billion years ago that we managed to get the relative size of the sun and the moon to be exactly the same. So for 6 billion years, we've been lucky enough to have this, and I'm just happy to be a little part of that.
And you're very fortunate and blessed, because for most of us, we'll never see totality live, because in any given place on the planet, as we said, it's like once every 400 years. So Do the math. Most people will never see this.
Yeah, no, and it's just an absolutely incredible event. Ryan, I want to ask you too, during totality, what was the sky conditions like? Did you really see those clouds fall apart? Were you able to see some of the stars and the planets as well?
Yeah, so we saw Jupiter for sure, but yeah, I mean the clouds totally dissipated. So we had this area of clear sky just right overhead, and we're going to see probably in the next 5 minutes or so the clouds fill back in. It's not going to take long for those clouds to redevelop. We're going to start warming up. In an hour, I'll complain about being hot again and sweating because we're going to go from this chill to now warmer weather. The one thing about Dallas tonight is that they're expecting a severe weather and tornado outbreak.
Wow.
So people are sort of going to hurry home after this and get ready because there's should be some really nasty storms tonight. So you get a little bit of everything in the atmosphere in North Texas today.
Well, speaking of chill, Bob Maxon's in Lake Placid, where totality is, I don't know, 45 minutes away or so. Bob, are you getting the chills from what you saw in Dallas, knowing it's coming your way?
I'm in a total debate in my brain whether seeing it as a preview was a good or a bad thing. Because I am a crier. And that diamond ring was absolutely spectacular, and just the mere thought of the fact that I'm going to turn in whatever, I lost track of time because that really was something that was moving. The fact that that's going to happen over my shoulder it's pretty awesome. It's really pretty awesome, and we don't really have a chill yet. We're inching in that direction, but I can't wait to share it with you guys coming up.
Well, we are lucky to be along for the ride, that's for sure. We will check back in with you. You've got about 30 minutes to go before things really start shaking there in Lake Placid. So hold tight there, Bob. We want to take you now to Storrs, where standing by is Kevin Geis with our professor, Dr. Jonathan Trump. He's a professor in the physics department. And Ryan just took us through some of the stages of that total eclipse. What a process.
It really is.
What a process. Absolutely gorgeous to watch and to experience. Kevin Geis, go ahead and take it away. Set the stage for us there. It looks like there are more people out where you are right now than there were earlier.
Yeah, Kevin, Keisha, what an awesome experience there, Ryan. I was able to hear it in my ear. What an awesome experience for him. And we're having a pretty awesome experience here at UConn as well. There are hundreds of people, dare I say, maybe a couple thousand people that have arrived excited, ready to enjoy this solar eclipse. Again, joining me is Professor Jonathan Trump with the physics department. You're an astronomy professor. I guess to start, we heard Ryan talking about it there a minute ago. Tell me about some of the stages of the eclipse. So Bailey's beads and diamond ring. I understand they're similar phenomenon, but either side of totality.
Yeah, that's right. So the diamond ring and Bailey's beads just happen because the moon isn't perfectly round. It has mountains and craters and things like this, right? And so it can let, just little slivers of sunlight get through and reach us, looking like this spotted ring-like pattern that we see here on Earth.
Absolutely. And the corona, I understand that's sort of a big term we continue to hear about. Talk to me about what the corona is and how it's relative to the solar eclipse.
Yeah, so for those lucky enough to see totality for this eclipse, the only part of the sun that makes it through is the corona, right? The corona is this extremely hot layer above the surface of the sun, very diffuse plasma gas, right? Made up of, strong magnetic fields, loops of material being launched from the sun coming back down. That's the solar corona, and, during an eclipse is the time to see it.
Absolutely, and you have to be in the path of totality in order to see that corona specifically. So here, we'll only see about 10% of the sun, roughly.
That's right. Yeah, so here in Storrs, we're going to have 92% occultation at 328. Still extremely exciting, right? We're just going to see a little sliver of sunlight. It will get darker, right? It will get colder. Yeah, it's going to be very exciting.
So we're already watching a little bit of the moon pass in front of the sun here. I'm continuing to check in with safety glasses, of course, making sure that I'm taking care of my eyes. We'll be back just a little bit to enjoy about 90%, 92% of coverage here in Storrs. But Kev, Keisha, we'll send it back to you while we're waiting.
Kevin, thank you. As we continue to track the solar eclipse, we go down to Little Rock, Arkansas, where they are in totality.
Our NBC affiliate is there covering this event. So let's dip in and listen to their coverage for just a moment.
One of those things that catches you a little off guard if you haven't seen it before. Joel has.
Now here's a live look. Is this Conway? I need to double check with our producers because we were told we were going to. This is us right here. This is downtown Little Rock. This is another view of what everyone is seeing as we speak. Bob, Total eclipse of the sun.
There it is. I mean, this is one of those things. And I think the next one is in...
It's in 21 years from now.
So,
and I can tell you this because Kevin and I were talking about our 20th year anniversary on Fox 16. We got to wait another 20 years.
40. Yeah,
yes.
do it all over again.
Exactly.
My gosh.
This is so wonderful to see. Even though we're right here in the studio, Bob, I still feel what so many people out there are feeling at this moment.
Just to look at that image, I mean, this is one of those things that the moon, you know, our celestial friend forever, you know, has just parked itself in front of the sun, blotting out what keeps this planet alive.
And here you're looking at people in Circe. You can see all eyes up to the sky as people watch this show, this beautiful, beautiful show of Mother Nature and the gods and all that put this together.
And it's one of those things, everybody is experiencing this at the same exact time. Emotions are completely different. They're probably as varied as the folks who are there, but it's something that everyone will have a T-shirt.
I tell
Eclipse,
you what,
Arkansas 2024.
From Mexico to Maine, and it's making its stop right now in the state of Arkansas. This is Hot Springs that you're looking at here. All of these are live videos that we're showing you of what's going on, children playing. I can remember when I was a kid.
I remember.
And I saw an eclipse, and my mom and my dad, we were in the backyard. These kids, I know they're playing right here, but they're going to remember this.
There's a shot of Batesville, the eclipse happening there. But I remember my neighbor's uncle did a pinhole camera so we could watch the eclipse. This was back in the 70s, and it was absolutely fascinating back then.
Well, you know what, and this is probably, people are going to cringe when I tell them this, but my dad had us use a piece of cut glass to look through and watch the eclipse. That's how we did it. Maybe that's why I wear glasses now.
Don't do that.
Don't do what we did. Please don't do that.
We didn't know that. We didn't know.
He had no idea. He thought he was doing the right thing.
But that's what happens.
This
But that's
is
why
life.
we're here. We've got this thing covered for you all over the state.
Be sure to wear your glasses. If you don't have them, then don't even chance it because it's just not worth it. It's too risky. You don't want anything to happen to your eyesight.
Exactly, and there are going to be so many images that'll be out there for you to see afterwards. Want to go to Batesville once again. Talisa Hampton, she's joining us now live from there. Talisa, what's the feeling there? What's the reaction there?
Well, Bob, Donna, just moments ago, everybody was clapping. Now you can hear a little bit of silence as everybody takes everything in. Can you tell me how you're feeling looking at this eclipse right now?
I just feel like a very small spectator of a very large event.
Can you tell me emotionally how are you feeling right now?
Awed by the whole thing, yes.
Thank you so much. And how are you feeling right now? This is the man sitting right next to her.
Very excited about this. You can't take your eyes off of it, really. It's wonderful.
How long have you been waiting to see this?
Well, I saw one once before, so like 7 years. Long time.
Thank you so much. And we got another man just taking it all in all. Can you tell me emotionally how you're feeling?
It's just humbling. That's all I can say. I'm speechless.
So you heard it here from him himself. It's speechless. It's humbling. It's one of the best things that people have seen. Reporting in Batesville, I'm Talisa Hampton. Back to you.
Quick point that I want to make. You saw they did not have their glasses on. They were looking
Because
out.
they didn't need it at that point.
It's totality at this point. It's when it starts to shift is when the damaging rays come through.
But I think you even have to be careful with that because, you know, you can start watching it and then too much of the sun is exposed and your eyesight can...
Listen to some live coverage. We dipped into the NBC affiliate Little Rock, Arkansas, where they just experienced totality. Next up, because again, this is going from Texas all the way to Maine over a short period of time this afternoon. But as we bring back in Ryan and Bob, I know we're going to go to Carbondale, Illinois.
We are.
And it's remarkable because 2 totality events in a 7-year period.
Well, and this town is ready for it. So in 2017, Carbondale had their last total solar eclipse. This is a town of about 25,000 people known for their college basketball, the Salukis. This is a community that's about 4 or 5 hours away from Chicago. And this draws a lot of people into the community. They're there for it. It's a party type of an atmosphere, much like Dallas, Texas. Not what we're seeing there in Lake Placid, where Bob Maxon is, where things are already quiet and serene. We can only imagine how this is going to feel when he hits the point of totality there.
Yeah, Ryan, for you, what an anomaly that Carbondale would get 2 of these in a 7-year period when for Connecticut it's going to be 154 years between totality events.
Yeah, 1925 was the last totality in Connecticut. The next one's not until 2079. And one thing that's sort of cool about the 1925 one, guys, is that it was totality in Connecticut, and the path of totality actually cut through Manhattan, so you could only see totality north or uptown of 96th Street. So if you were in Times Square or downtown, you couldn't see it. It was only above 96th Street and up into the Bronx. So it just shows you, you go from, it's a very fine demarcation. You're either in totality or you're not. And we're already starting to warm up here in Dallas. The last eclipse I saw was in 2017 on the water on a beach near Charleston, South Carolina. To see it in a city was actually really cool. As we got to totality, all the lights on the buildings and the street lights all around us started to come on like they would at nighttime, which was a really, really cool experience.
Wow. Bob Maxson, we know that there in Lake Placid, you're going to reach totality at around 3:20ish, so maybe about, 22 minutes from now. Are you feeling a temperature drop there?
Not quite yet. It's kind of an interesting experience right now because we have all this cirrus cloudiness around. So I'm trying to kind of I'm looking around, I'm saying, is it the dimming of the sun because of the eclipse, or is it a little thicker cirrus cloudiness that may be filtering the sun a little bit, like it would on a normal day? So we're getting there. Oh, look at that image right there from somewhere in Arkansas, I believe that is.
That's Carbondale.
You just saw another diamond ring there. Carbondale?
Yeah.
Well, Carbondale also has a bonus. You guys will love this. I mean, okay, they got 2 solar eclipses, but a former Storm Tracker team member, longtime meteorologist Art Horn, is in Carbondale doing scientific research. So, I mean, that's. I knew you guys would love that. Art's doing some scientific research, releasing weather balloons. So, I'm not sure Carbondale can handle that much excitement, but here in Lake Placid, we're preparing. It looks like we're about 25 minutes away from totality. It's getting there, and as soon as I start to sense some more of those changes, I'll certainly pass them along. But right now, we're just kind of in that holding pattern. The anticipation is, honestly, the anticipation's killing me. I can't wait for this to happen. So a lot of excitement building, but it's anticipation right now.
And Ryan, as we look in our screen at Carbondale, Illinois, where they're getting their second solar eclipse in totality in a 7-year period, it's just an anomaly, right? There's nothing scientific. It's just random that they would be in the path of totality twice in a short period of time, right?
Yeah, there's no celestial anomaly over Carbondale. They just happen to be right where the 2 paths crossed. So it's just a sort of a fluke thing. And I'm looking at the Carbondale totality right now. We have NASA's feed up on a monitor here. And, just like we had here, they managed to get clear sky again. And that's one of the things about the solar eclipse is if you're able to get just those puffy clouds around, the temperature drop will kill them. So a lot of people think it's not going to happen, we have too many clouds, but just like here, those clouds dissipated as soon as the temperature dropped. So hopefully for Bob, and we're only 25 minutes away from Lake Placid getting into totality, those cirrus clouds will be thin enough you can still see the eclipse through it. So, Bob, I think you're going to be in good shape. I think if it was another hour or 2 from now, it might be trouble, but I think you're just going to get it in the nick of time.
Right, just below the sun right now, just to the, I guess it would be the southwest of us, there is a little bit of a thicker band of clouds that has me slightly concerned. Oh no, you know what? It dissipated since we've been on the air, but I was getting a little concerned because cirrus cloudiness can come and go in varying thickness, and I was getting a little concerned. But right now we are back to mostly blue with just some really, really high cirrus clouds. Now the mechanism that makes the cirrus clouds is totally different than cumulus clouds, so these won't go away because they don't live off the energy that the sun, of course, gives the Earth. So we're getting there, we're getting closer. Skies are looking good, and I think we're in a really, really good spot here in Lake Placid, New York. So we'll keep you up to date as things start to change.
Hey, Bob, could you, Bob, check out your shadow right now. Do you notice your shadow being exceptionally crisp, unusually so?
Yes. Yes, I guess that's because we're starting to limit the amount of because I just happen to, my shadow happens to be right here, and yeah, I totally do.
Yeah.
In fact, even like the outlines of my sweater collar are showing up. In fact, you know, Greg's pretty good at what he does here. My videographer will get a shot of this shadow, and just like you're saying, Ryan, because I guess we're limiting the amount of solar influx, the shadows become crisper. I learned something new. Thanks, Chief.
And in fact,
yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know it. Yeah, I don't know exactly why it happens. I need to like read that Wikipedia entry, but there's something about like the way the moon, how you get just a little sliver of sun, it makes your shadow like super crisp. It's another like weird thing that happens during an eclipse.
right, in fact, you mentioned
Very cool.
flat shadows as well. Flat shadows during totality as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so with like the crisp shadow that Bob's seeing right now, you're going to be able to see that in Connecticut too, because you know Bob is only probably like 75% covered. The sun's only about 75% covered. So in Connecticut, if you go outside, you're going to see that. Unfortunately, we don't have leaves on the trees yet in Connecticut, but you can actually see the outline of the crescent sun when you look at the shadows from the leaves. So that's something that's sort of nice about a summer eclipse or coming down south for it. But yeah, if you have a second, go outside, check out your shadow. It's like, found myself doing this. I look like a crazy person looking at my shadow with my hand out. It's pretty cool.
And
Okay,
we've
I'll be
noticed.
that crazy person for a minute, and I totally see it. I'll be that crazy person. Look, it is absolutely sharper than it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so wild.
It's neat to see.
Cool.
Very crisp. You know,
Cool.
folks who may be just joining us, we have folks across Connecticut and certainly with Ryan in Dallas, where we saw totality a short time ago. Bob's awaiting it in about 15, 20 minutes here in Lake Placid. But totality itself, guys, Bob, will go to you. For people who haven't paid attention, just joining us, we're talking 2+ minutes, up to about 4. I mean, this is quick. This doesn't last, 45 minutes. It's 4 minutes, right?
Yeah, we're looking at about 3:35 here, 3.5 minutes here in Lake Placid. And by the way, guys, just to come full circle, that wasn't my hand. Caitlin Clark is here. I know it's crazy, but Caitlin Clark, she's everywhere. That Iowa superstar. No, I kid. Yes, it's quick. And didn't you get that from Ryan going through totality? It was almost like play-by-play. During our 11 o'clock news, I joked with Kevin that somewhere I'm going to hear in the echoes of the halls of Lake Placid, we're going to hear, do you believe in miracles? Yes, yes, because this is kind of miraculous, what we're about to experience. And the way that Ryan took us through so quickly, you went from looking for Bailey's beads, looking for the diamond ring, seeing the corona, and then reversing the whole thing. It's amazing. It's 3.5 minutes of incredible astronomical phenomenon.
All right, Bob Maxon live for us in Lake Placid. Ryan and Dallas will get back to you guys in a moment. We're looking at Indianapolis, Indiana. That's next in the path of totality. Do we have a chance to listen into their coverage as we did earlier with Little Rock, Arkansas? If so, let's take a peek at how they're covering it in Indy.
We're seeing, oh my gosh, I'm actually, guys, this is so different than 2017 as well.
How?
The reason
How is
was
it different
because we
from
were in a solar minimum. Yes, we were in a solar minimum during 2017. We are now in a solar maximum. The corona is brighter. You've actually got, I can actually see, I don't know if you guys can see this, maybe you can, but I can actually see solar storms that are going on here. And we've got a couple of zoomed in views that I'm looking at for NASA, because NASA sent a huge contingent here. They sent a huge contingent here from Washington, D.C., and we're looking at some of the NASA video. I can see solar flares going on right now from that video. This is just, yeah, and I gotta do this myself, right? I gotta make sure that I get the picture.
Yeah, this is the money shot.
Guys,
you got 2 more minutes. So, Doug, it's showing white, that the light around it, that corona, is it yellow, white, golden? What are you seeing?
It's white. It is white. It is pure white. It is pure white. Oh, and I see down to the bottom of the sun, you can actually see a solar flare.
Wow.
Oh my God! I wasn't sure if I'd be able to see it with the naked eye.
I think
and
we're
by the way,
picking up
that
a little
solar
bit of this.
flare is dozens and dozens of times bigger. The solar flare is dozens and dozens of times bigger than the Earth itself. I mean,
really?
Just the soul. Oh, look at that to the bottom. Oh my gosh, that's just.
Yeah, it's hard to see from our vantage point, but there's definitely this glow around the sun. And what other activity can you notice from your vantage point?
Yeah, that is, you're talking about that glow around the sun. That is, and now we're seeing a little bit the way of what's called Bailey's beads. I think that's what I'm seeing anyway. Bailey's beads are actually when the sun starts to move through some of the valleys of the moon. And you can actually see that there. But there's a definite solar flare on the bottom side of the moon. Wow. That is really, really incredible. But that glow that you're talking about, that white glow, that is the corona. And the corona is the sun's atmosphere.
Wow.
I mean, we're looking at the atmosphere of the sun. And that's why NASA is using this as a time to study the sun's atmosphere right now.
At its
we've
darkest,
seen so many different telescopes that are out here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did it seem like nighttime, like midnight to you on any typical night? Did it get that dark?
Yeah, it's almost like, Jim, I tell you, it's almost like a summer night, 9 o'clock at night, where you've got off in the distance, I can see light. Because you got to remember here, this is not very wide. I mean, when I say not very wide, the path of totality back in 2017 was about 60 to 70 miles wide. This path is about 120 miles wide.
Wow,
so
okay.
I'm looking down past, I'm looking 100 miles away, and it's still sunny over that area because they're not seeing totality. So that's why, okay, and here it comes on the other side, guys. So I'm going to have to put the glasses back on.
Sure.
What time do you have? What? Oh, my gosh. Look at the, oh, my gosh.
We can see it moving, too, Doug.
Oh, my gosh. Look at the diamond. There's the diamond. Oh, there's the diamond. Oh, we got to put the glasses back on.
Put the glasses on, Doug.
Oh, wow. What a show.
Look at this.
Wow.
What a show
Oh, my goodness.
that was.
Just wow. Oh, my God.
I can't even tell you. I mean, how incredible that was. And to have this many people here viewing that.
Yeah.
Wow. We can hear
the
cheering.
Oh, my gosh. And this is just going to continue, guys.
What a
This
show.
is just going to continue. And we still have, I mean, let me look at it again here. We've got that little sliver. That's all we have. We have a tiny, tiny sliver. And that's all we have. And again, I was just looking at Venus. I was just looking at Jupiter. They're gone. I can't see them now.
Well,
I mean,
look how bright it is
that's
again.
what we've got.
Yeah.
And just think about what we've got. We literally had the moon. If you can think about this, look at you literally just had the moon go across our sky between us and the sun. That is what is causing this. It really is fascinating.
It is.
Wow.
And that was about 4 minutes, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, a little more than 4 minutes. Did it get cooler for that nanosecond there? Could you tell a temperature difference, Doug?
It did.
And Doug,
yeah, it
listen.
did. We got down to 73 degrees, so we dropped close to 7 degrees.
All right,
over
Doug,
the past couple of minutes.
Listen, we know how excited you were for this journey. Can you just describe your own excitement and what it was like for you to have waited since 2017? This time you were in Indianapolis, and as you said, different from the last time you witnessed it, and what that was like for you?
Yeah, I mean, just coming here and seeing something like that, you realize how small we are. You know, I mean, you realize how small we really are, and you get to see something like that, the celestial event that doesn't happen very often. I mean, I am so lucky that NBC sent me here for a second time because I saw the one in 2017. This one by far was so much better because of the fact that we had that solar activity going on. And I've been watching some of the other feeds that are out there as well, and we're going to continue to show you more as this continues to move up toward the north and east. But just the fact that we've got those solar flares that are going, the diamond that I just saw pop out, I mean, my goodness gracious, really just amazing. So when they told me I was getting to go, and we had to pick a place to go, and our choice was Indianapolis because we thought that might have the best weather. And fortunately, the weather has lucked out for us, and it's been gorgeous all day, guys.
A lot of people called it there. No better place to.
So you heard the excitement in Doug's voice, right?
Isn't that incredible?
And he saw the 2017 solar eclipse.
Yeah.
So to compare it to this one, you hear this common theme. Ryan said the same thing. People who have seen both, but especially those folks in the path of totality, comparing 2017 to 2024, there is a big difference. And
there is a difference. Yeah, and there's a lot of differences back and forth. What was so cool, what Doug was mentioning, was solar maximum and solar minimum. So if you remember, we've done a lot of Northern Lights stories more or less recently, right? We've done a couple of the stories here. The Weather Center, we've talked about it a lot. And the big difference from 2017 to now is back in 2017, the sun wasn't as active. So this time around, we have more solar flares that cause the Northern Lights. We have more of those events. So when the sun gets covered by the moon, we actually can see that. We can see, they mentioned those red hues, those red dots along the moon. Those are the solar flares that are actually bubbling off the surface of the sun, and we're able to see that because it is so active.
And
it's
with
very
the
cool.
naked eye.
Yeah, exactly. They're able to take the glasses off because they're in totality, look up and just see it.
More science since middle school here. Keisha's excited because her growing diamond collection. Each
Listen,
time, Keisha's like,
I'm keeping track.
And for those just joining us, we've seen totality in this path. We're going to get 92% roughly here.
Yeah.
People may be wondering when that's going to happen.
Yeah, that is going to happen close to about 327. Now, there really isn't going to be much of a difference between 325, 345. If you're looking around 330 here in Connecticut, you are going to notice a difference. I was standing outside at the top of the show. The sun was beating on me. It was hot. It was warm out there. Temperatures are into the 70s, feeling like the 70s in the direct sun. I took a couple of pictures. I posted them on Facebook. When I went out there not too long ago, you could already feel a difference. The sun isn't as strong on your face. The temperatures may have cooled a couple of degrees, and it is slowly starting to just, something feels off.
Wear the glasses, right?
Well, you need the glasses.
You need 1,000 times darker than regular sunglasses, so you have to have the glasses or a pinhole projector.
Pinhole projectors, those work fantastic. Go in your kitchen, go into the cupboard, grab a kitchen colander, and go outside and hold that up, and the shadows that you will see works the same way as a pinhole projector. You don't even need to build anything. Just go grab a colander. Anything with holes in it, essentially, will do you good there. And you can actually see those, instead of it being circles of light, they're going to be a bunch of little crescent shapes.
You know,
try it. It's really cool.
To the layperson, you'd think, okay, 92%, we would see some drastic changes here. Maybe it will go dark, but that is not what's going to happen.
For us in Connecticut, we are not going to get dark like what we've seen in all those live shots. Unfortunately, we're not. We're just too far away. It will get a little bit dimmer. You're going to notice that. It's going to be a little bit more calm. I kind of noticed that when I walked outside as well. So if you're standing out there the whole time, you're going to notice something is off a little bit. You don't quite, if you didn't know that there was an eclipse going on, you'd be like, huh, something just isn't quite right here.
Yeah, well,
it's just a
our
little
friends
off.
in Mother Nature know. I mean, I printed this out. I mean, animals really react to the solar eclipse. Bees will stop buzzing. Birds will stop whistling. Crickets actually begin chirping. And some pets, you know, our dogs or cats, may express a form of confusion.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and we can see why. I mean, we're looking live right now at Cleveland, Ohio. This is from NASA, and what a gorgeous, gorgeous view
And look
there.
the top right. You can see a little bit of that flare there. And if guys, if we could remove the banner, just on the bottom left, right, you can also see. Look at that big flare off that corner of the sun, just kind of sticking out there on the corner.
Why is that less red?
I think it has something to do with, because the moon, again, the moon is always moving with us, so I think it depends on how much light is kind of available there. But wow, what an incredible, we have this pulled up in one of our monitors off to the side. You can really just see that red, 2 red dots there. Those are the flares bubbling off the sun, just absolutely incredible.
What a great learning lesson for us all.
This is amazing. And Bob Maxson mentioned Caitlin Clark, the women's Final Four is in Cleveland. Caitlin Clark didn't cause this to happen. This is a greater force.
Well, and you know what, you bring that up, and we're going to check in with Jolie Sherman now, but everyone seems to mention some of the same things no matter where they are. There's an odd feeling. It makes you feel so small in the grand scheme of what we're doing here.
Well, what I found, so I went in 2017, I saw the eclipse. We drove down to Kentucky for that. And it's amazing enough to go out and see that, but to see the reaction of everybody else, you're one of thousands of people that are just watching this, and everyone goes quiet at the same time. Everyone is staring. Everyone is focused on one thing. It's incredible. It's an incredible experience.
It's beautiful to see.
Yeah.
Thanks, Anthony. Let's check back in with our crews here in Connecticut. Jolie Sherman is in Avon at the Talcott Mountain Science Center and Academy.
What's going on there, Jolie?
Yeah, guys, you know, these glasses look like the ones you'd find at a movie theater for a 3D film. And let me just tell you, it really looks like we are watching a show in nature. You can see a group of people here are on the platform taking the eclipse in. We met a family from Glastonbury. They have some of their glasses on. Can we get your glasses on? Can you look up at the sun and tell us what you're seeing real quick?
It looks like a crescent moon. It looks like a crescent moon. It's just a small line like that.
Yeah, we are. And you know what we're also noticing? The temperatures are dropping. It appears to be getting darker. And what's so cool is the staff, they're keeping us prepared every step of the way during this eclipse. As you may know, Connecticut isn't in the path of totality. We are experiencing a partial eclipse, and soon they're going to let us know when we've reached maximum coverage. It's all so cool. You can feel the energy in the air here today. People are watching from the platform. Just take a look around. They have their glasses on. They're gazing up at the sun safely. Some of them are here in the lot. You see our snow monster out there. They're all here to ring in such a cool event in nature. For now, live in Avon, Jolie Sherman, NBC Connecticut News.
Jolie Sherman joining us live there at Talcott Mountain Science Center in Avon. We do thank you.
Jolie, thanks. Let's get back out to Jackie Post. She's in Middletown at Wesleyan University, where I don't think there's much studying going on this afternoon, unless it has to do with this partial eclipse, Jackie.
Yeah, you know, I was just thinking that, Kevin, actually. I saw a couple kids on the roof of their dorm. So, you know, there's a lot of excitement, and a lot of the students actually did just show up, and you can tell the energy is just changing. They're super excited to witness this event in nature. What's really cool here at Wesleyan, obviously the observatory is super cool. It's historic and independent, and they have tours going on there. But the crowd is able to watch this through these specific telescopes, which have the filters in them. So you can see there's a line there of people who are lining up to get a glimpse, and it's a real close-up look. So it's a little better than the glasses, so you can get a really close-up look at it. So that's pretty cool. Lots of folks have been saying that that's been a really neat feature of this event. And you know, like Jolie said, I can feel the temperature changing. It's getting chilly. It's getting a little bit darker, and you know, people are just getting really excited. So we'll send it back to you for now.
All right, Jackie Post live for us in Middletown at Wesleyan University, where you can tell people are pretty fired up this afternoon.
Listen, it's not just the kids who are excited, not just the college students. Bob Maxon standing by live in Lake Placid, New York, as we continue to track the solar eclipse. Totality there is just minutes away.
Yeah, Bob, you're an upstate New York guy. Yeah. You know, you went to college at Cornell. It's kind of, you know, at some level, this is sort of home for you when you get into the Adirondacks. What is it like for you right now emotionally, knowing that you're 4.5 or so minutes out from totality?
I don't know. I'm getting a little numb. Honestly, like, we're supposed to talk on television, and we just saw Ryan and Doug do such great jobs explaining what's occurring, and I'm going to do my very best to take you through this play-by-play, but it doesn't show up very well on camera, but there's a discernible difference in light, okay? The shadows are unbelievably crisp. It is definitely getting a little bit darker, and everyone's just kind of settling in now for the main event. I mean, the greatest show on earth is about to occur, and I'm going to watch that clock on the bottom of our screen here. We're at 3:21, so we're about 3.5 to 4 minutes away from totality. And what we're going to do in a couple of minutes is we're going to flip over our coverage, and Greg's going to zoom up on the event. Not quite yet, but we're feeling a definite chill. Now, we're up here in the mountains. Lake Placid is a cold, cold place. It was 19 degrees here this morning, and we got a lot of sun, a ton of melting snow. We were probably up around 50 degrees, but Greg, my videographer, has gone back to a winter jacket. Everyone's kind of maybe putting some gloves and mittens on, and I'm feeling a definite chill. So the temperatures are falling, I would say, fairly rapidly. So 322. I'm going to go check. I want to check it out. Check on the sun here, and we're getting closer and closer. Again, this is my first time around. It's my first time around, so when I know we're getting closer because we just have a sliver of the sun. And Greg, if you can go ahead and zoom up, Greg, as we get closer and closer to totality. I'm going to apologize in advance for some of the folks. Some great people are here viewing with me. You probably don't want to hear someone talk all the way through it, and I apologize for that. But we are on the cusp of totality here in Lake Placid, New York. So we have to get to 325. 5 and a couple of seconds after that. So the sliver of the sun showing through from 93 million miles away is shining down on us barely, and we see that it's creeping. The surface of the moon is creeping in front of the sun, and we were all kind of fascinated that it went from right to left, because everything's moving from left to right across the sky. The sun and the new moon together are going left to right, but the eclipse is occurring in the opposite direction. We're getting closer and closer to totality. So we're going to watch for, as we talked about earlier, the diamond ring, and then the possibility of seeing Bailey's beads. And then we have totality, and of course the viewing of the corona and some of those solar flares and prominences that we were just seeing out in Cleveland and Indianapolis and Arkansas and Texas. So we are getting there. It's getting really kind of strangely dark. I'm looking out from under my glasses, and we're starting to definitely get a big change in the amount of light that's coming past the moon. And again, we're creeping toward totality. So I'm not sure what you guys are seeing back in West Hartford. I know Greg is zoomed in as best we can with a solar filter to protect our equipment, but we are inching toward. It's gotten very quiet here, by the way. Everyone is sensing that we're on the brink of what many people have planned for and waited for many, many years. Boy, it is getting, the sliver of the sun is getting smaller and smaller.
And Bob, we can see.
We are on the brink.
We can see exactly what you're looking at, just that sliver that's disappearing. Also, quickly, we're also looking at Rochester, New York, as well. Rochester there to the left of your screen, and we're looking at Lake Placid.
Yeah, so there's a bit of some celebrations of champagne. We're so close. We have to be a mere seconds away, and just like we saw in other parts of the country, we're starting to hear some cheers and the anticipation of totality. You can hear the spectators. So we have totality in Lake Placid. Wow. You're seeing it with me, folks.
Bob, we can hear the emotion in your voice. What does this feel like to you? This is your first total solar eclipse.
It's amazing. I'm sorry. It is truly amazing. I'm trying to see what planet has appeared to the lower right. It's Venus has appeared, usually the morning star or evening star, but in this case it is in transition, and it's to the lower right of totality. Look at that. We can see flares with our naked eyes. Glasses off, everybody. You can see some flares in the lower left of the corona. You can see that reddish hue that we've seen elsewhere around the country. It is just breathtaking. We're in pitch dark. We are in total nighttime here in Lake Placid. You do see some of those flares, the corona. And as we transition out of totality, and we're going to be watching this carefully because the diamond ring was something that I missed here as we entered totality, and I hope to catch here as we exit. But from Lake Placid, New York, this is absolutely stunning. And as I expected, we have a sunset across all of the horizon. It's obscured a little bit by the cirrus cloudiness that we've talked endlessly about, but we have a sunset that is showing up on the other side of Whiteface Mountain and the other side of these condos. I was wondering, we're not seeing the comet. There was hope that we'd be able, if the skies were crystal clear, there was a comet. And Anthony, you might know the name of the comet since you're watching with me, or you can Google it real quick. Off to the left, we're hoping to see a comet, but I think the high cloudiness has taken that away from us. But there's more solar flares in that lower sort of to the left portion of the corona. Look at that. Wow. That is, look at this. The corona is just amazing. All right, I gathered myself, you guys. I'm back, but this is truly amazing.
Bob, you've seen a lot. You're a well-traveled, well-read guy. What makes this, for you being there in person, so emotional right now? What is it about this event?
It's the complete change in everything that we were experiencing 5 minutes ago. It's a complete dark sky silence. I haven't noticed anything from nature as far as birds, but it's the silence. It's the incredible beauty of that, of totality. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Bob, when you think about the fact that you are experiencing this surrounded by people who you love in an area that you love, this is your home roots here, that has to have even more of a special meaning to you at this moment.
It really does. Now, it really does. It's hard to describe, actually. Wow. Look at those flares off the bottom right now. Are you seeing those with me?
Oh, yeah.
Diamond ring.
Oh, yeah.
Glasses. Yep. Oh, look at that diamond ring. This is absolutely unbelievable. All right, glasses back on. You can hurt yourself. Oh my gosh, that is unbelievable. You almost don't want to put your glasses back on, but you have to do it for your eye safety. That is unbelievable. We'll say goodbye to Venus for another day, and we're starting to see this kind of flat light reappear as the sun starts to reemerge on the other side of the moon. That was quite a diamond ring, don't you think? I've put my glasses back on, have to. So I missed on Bailey's beads, but we certainly got that diamond ring effect, you guys. That was really something. Now, if you stick with me for a minute, I'm just going to take our other microphone, Greg. I just want to visit with some folks who have experienced this with me. And if you guys don't mind, you don't have to, just tell me what you're feeling and thinking right now.
Oh.
You're live with NBC Connecticut.
It's just really awesome. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like it. Completely unique.
Agreed. Wasn't the diamond ring amazing?
I think I may have missed that, but the rest of it and the light, taking it off during the total eclipse part, seeing the light was just gorgeous. The lake looks awesome.
Enjoy the rest.
Beautiful.
Enjoy the rest. Thank you so much. What did you think?
I mean, really emotional, just transformative. I'm like quivering because it was deeply moving,
Yeah.
So anyway,
yeah.
I'm
Thank
embarrassing
you.
myself.
No, you're not. Not at all. Thank you so much. And guys, I know we're seeing this from Mexico all the way to eventually Maine and Canada. But that, as Ryan said, it goes down as one of the most amazing.
Bob, it happened so fast, right? I mean, it was in Cleveland and then Rochester, moving at more than like 3,000 miles an hour, right? So this is like, it's been 1 minute out the next.
And truly amazing. And now we're back to what would probably be, a kind of that flat light, but the sun's coming back out, and we go back to relative normalcy. But that totality, it was everything that it was made out to be. All the anticipation. And gosh, you know what? You guys have to figure it out. Anybody who's watching from Connecticut has to figure out a way to, at some point in their lifetime, experiencing that. I've seen total lunars. I was part of an annular eclipse in 1994 up in New Hampshire. Doesn't hold a candle to what just happened. It was a special moment. Remember, the annular is when the moon's too far away. This was perfection. This was perfection from a meteorological standpoint, an astronomical standpoint, and an emotional standpoint. And and now we're starting to see that crescent sun appear again on the lower right side, and we'll be back to a mostly sunny, somewhat normal April 8th in Lake Placid, New York. Wow. Whew. Really amazing stuff, you guys.
You weren't sure how this was going to hit after you'd seen Ryan Hanrahan's experience there in Dallas, Texas. You weren't sure how you were going to feel about seeing it, getting a preview, right? It didn't disappoint, it sounds like. It did not disappoint.
No, the darkness was... It was amazing. It really took me because you're trying to talk on television, you're trying to describe what you're seeing through these glasses, and then you take the glasses off and you're like, what just occurred? Like, what's happening right now? And one of the things we eclipse watchers have been talking about this weekend up here is that in the olden days, when we didn't have all these scientific, calculations to know the exact minute that this was going to occur, what did people think? If you were alive in the 1800s and all of a sudden that happened, you would think the world was coming to an end. And when I took those glasses off during totality, it was absolutely breathtaking. And I only sort of apologize for being emotional because everyone here was emotional too. And there's just something about it.
Well, you mentioned how time stops and how different it was before we could track these things. I read something this morning that like 600 BC, there was a war that was going on that stopped because both sides, what's going on? They didn't understand what they were seeing.
Yeah.
And
Bob?
please don't apologize.
Just incredible.
Please
Okay.
don't apologize for that emotion,
guys,
Bob.
the sun's back out. It's time for UConn Final Four national championship game. Let's go.
He's moving on. He's moving on.
The last time I saw that much emotion in Lake Placid, New York was February 24th, 1980, when the U.S. won the gold medal in hockey. So do you believe in miracles? Bob, great stuff in Lake Placid.
Yes.
We've got to head now to
Thank you,
Holton,
guys.
Maine. Thank you for letting us share in that experience with you. Holton, Maine is the last
light is coming up a
place
little
in the
bit,
US.
but we have about 3 minutes of totality.
They
right?
are in totality, and let's listen in to their coverage there, our NBC affiliate there. This is, again, Maine,
Share with
Holton,
your
Maine.
family as well. Lester, I know you've seen this all along the path, but it's brought thousands of people to what is a pretty small city here, Holton, Maine.
Yep.
And this is the last stop in the U.S., Lester, before it heads into New Brunswick, Canada, which is only 3 miles away from us. And then after that, it'll go over Prince Edward Island and then up to Newfoundland. If you remember Gander, a lot of people know that town because of what happened on 9/11. They helped so many people that day. Well, Gander is going to be one of the last stops in the world for this solar eclipse. Do we have to
hear people crying?
I hear people crying. I hear people yelling. Yeah.
This is
Lester, go ahead.
Yeah, Kate, I mean, you talked about feeling the emotion again and hearing people crying. I heard the crowd leading up to that moment of cheering, and then from what I could tell, they seem to grow silent. Is that what you're mainly hearing now?
Yeah, most people aren't talking. I mean, we're trying to use golf voices here, me and Mark, but most people, there's a little bit of a buzz, but people are just looking up in awe all around me. And I think it is that feeling of being in it together that is so special, Mark. I think it's spiritual in a way, depending on your beliefs, but it does feel like something so much bigger than us.
Something is bigger than us.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it.
We have to put our glasses back on, Lester, 1 second.
Yeah, that's the key. Is to get those glasses back on.
There we go. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see a little bit of sun peeking through now, just a tad. Tell me more about what you've been looking for today, Mark, because you have this fancy telescope set up. What have you been?
A couple things. I want to show people what it's like as the moon moves across the sun's surface so they can see what's going on and kind of actually watch this work. People don't really understand. They don't have a daily experience with like the sun and the moon and everything else. This makes it real.
A big cheer going up for the crowd here. There's a local radio station next to us, Lester, and they're telling everybody how was that, and everybody's cheering. Go ahead.
So we don't have a lot of experience with the heavens moving or stars and planets, and this is a dynamic system where you can just watch it happen and you feel it, and it does weird things, and now things are starting to return to normal, and it's just a human experience.
I don't know how to explain it. I almost feel like, Lester, like I felt it in my chest. And maybe you had that experience where you are too, that I sort of felt this, I don't know, just incredible awe. I guess that's the best word for it, awe, right?
Yeah, I walked into this and told myself just find the moment, and whatever that moment is, and with few expectations. And I think that's why you get that moment of surprise of how you react to something like this. But it is something simply out of our norm, let's face it.
Yeah, and out of our control too, right? This isn't something that we have any control over, and it's been happening for millennia.
For millennia, for as long as the human race has existed and before that.
Yeah, and by the way, it won't happen in Maine, in New England again until 2079. So this, for a lot of people, I've been talking to some senior people here, Lester, who are saying like this is probably the last full eclipse I'll see. So it's got that part of it too. Although there is another one in 20 years if you're willing to go to Montana and North Dakota.
Actually, I'm going to be heading to Iceland in 2 years.
You are?
Yes.
Mark will be going to Iceland in 2 years, so there you go. I was looking at Spain's on that track too. I would like that.
That would be nice.
That would be
warm.
nice.
Well, you
Lester,
guys save a place for me on that airplane. No, you just save me a seat on that airplane to the next one.
You've been watching our NBC network coverage there of the total solar eclipse in Bolton, Maine, the last U.S. city to experience totality out of this 2024 solar eclipse.
And it's incredible. I'm looking back at the notes, how fast all this happened. I mean, we saw totality with Ryan, who we're going to go to our chief meteorologist in Dallas, Texas at, what, 2:40, and here we are at 3:38, and it's bias.
Zoomed right
That was
out
the
of
last
here.
spot in the U.S., heads to Canada, and that's that until 2044. Ryan, we still have 20 minutes to go in our coverage, but just some of your thoughts and reflections, certainly, you know, the emotion we saw from Bob. You guys study this stuff. You're science people at heart. I'll let you say science geek, but you know what I'm saying. And this is such a special day. What was it like for you this last hour and a half or so, and certainly seeing the reaction from your dear friend Bob?
I think I cried more during Bob's live shot just listening to Bob than I did when I saw it myself. It's, you know, when you experience something like that, it's a shared experience. You're with strangers, but you're all sort of in it together. So there were probably a couple thousand people where we were in Dallas all watching it. And it is one of the most spine-tingling, incredible feelings you'll ever have, being able to watch pitch dark in the middle of the day, and it was really, really spectacular. I was talking to a meteorologist from KNBC, the Los Angeles NBC station. She's working right next to us, and I looked over afterwards, and she's walking on the platform, and she's just wiping her tears away. I mean, it just does it, and you don't have to be. I think the cool thing about this too, you don't have to be a meteorologist or a scientist to just be amazed and be in awe of something. And you know, it's just a really special thing, and it is a spiritual experience. A lot of people say that, and before I saw my first eclipse back in 2017, I just didn't really get it. I'm like, a spiritual experience. I mean, come on. And then you go through it, and you just sort of think of your place in the universe, and everything that you're used to seeing is gone all of a sudden. The sun just goes away in the middle of the day, and you see these incredible things in the sky that you've never seen before, and you can't even imagine. It was spectacular. And Bob, I am so glad that you got to experience this. I know the two of us have been agonizing over cloud thickness. Like, oh, is the cloud going to be like a kilometer deep or 2 kilometers deep for the last week or so? I'm so glad I don't have to do that again for another 20 years. But Bob, just listening to you was incredible.
Well, thanks, Ryan. So many thoughts go flowing through your mind, I think, as you come away from something this miraculous. And one of the thoughts that was going through my head as I was listening to you kind of describe the post-eclipse feelings and emotions is that we live in a society now where everyone is staring at their phone, right? This is what everyone does. Today, or on a day-to-day basis, we all take nature, science, astronomy, we take all that stuff for total granted. We don't even notice things that happen. A huge percentage of our society has no idea what's going on. But today, for 5 minutes, we were all one. And we were all one in just complete and utter disbelief of what was occurring. And here it was a group experience. But think about it. Everyone in that path of totality has been touched by science and by astronomy and by all of this that we tend to completely ignore all the other times. I beg my kids to look up from their devices and look at the bird feeder with me. Look at the buds on the trees. Look at everything that happens around us every single day. And it shouldn't have taken eclipse to make us feel how lucky we are to be on this earth. But the eclipse certainly put a huge exclamation point on it for so many today.
And Bob, one thing I was thinking of when you just said that was when I used to work a day shift and I would come in and you were finishing up in the morning, I would frequently walk in and you were watching a video feed of birds in Cornell, and just in awe of the beauty of nature. And so you are not joking when you say that, like, no, I really appreciate nature. And it's so cool to be able to experience something like this with people who are not scientists and maybe, as you said, take it for granted. And I think one other thing, too, we hear on the news all the time about how polarized we are in the country. And you get this one experience, and it lasts a couple minutes, where everyone comes together and looks up, and it's just dumbfounded and awestruck and just amazed in this joint spiritual experience, and it's really hard to describe. And it's not just people from the United States that got to experience it. There are people who have come in from all over the world to see this, and it really was amazing and perfect and just the best thing ever.
I was just saying that.
I couldn't agree with you more, Ryan. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying that it's the unity of it all. What the two of you are describing, and we certainly feel it here. Just seeing people stop and look up, hearing the cheering once it's over.
There are very few topics now, to Ryan's point, that aren't politicized. I mean, I guess to some degree, sports. We got UConn playing for the national championship tonight, but you know, you opine on anything now in our society, and all of a sudden people put you in a box. And the beauty of this, to Ryan's point, I'll let you guys pick it up from here, is this is, by some measure, some would say, an act of God. And this is something we all can have a feeling about without it being you're on this side of an issue or that side. It's just a love for everything that's out there in our universe.
Very well put, Kevin. I couldn't agree with you more, and I'll just take it from there real quickly and say, just like you guys are mentioning, for 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes in some cases, everyone was one, and that is just an amazing. I'm actually glad this is really therapeutic to be able to discuss this with you guys and really put it into perspective of what just happened. Is just, whew, I mean, everyone says they'll never forget it. I will never ever forget what just occurred over my right shoulder. That was amazing.
Bob Maxon in Lake Placid, Ryan Hanrahan.
Oh, real quick.
In Dallas, yes.
One last thing. My bird nerd has to come out. Greg and I were out here at the crack of dawn this morning, and hey, the loons are back. I mean, on Golden Pond, you know, the loons are back for the summer. We had a loon come in, probably from somewhere out by Cape Cod, is where they spend their winters. Not that I'm a bird nerd or anything, but we heard a loon, so it's pretty cool.
There's a joke here with that word, but I'll save it for when you're back in the newsroom, Bob.
You'll tell it in person, right?
Bob and Ryan, wonderful job.
We're all a little bit loony. We're all loony.
Each and every one of us.
Special way, right?
Said it, but friend, we'll see you guys again in a little bit.
Thank you both. An amazing event, though, for people who were in the path of totality, those who were not. Here, you said we had about a 5-degree
so I had
temperature
a
drop.
little thermometer outside, and we did notice, and you just feel it by walking out the door, at least 5 degrees. Seeing that go down, and you walk outside, you know, the clouds have kind of moved in here in Connecticut, but I was looking in the corner of my eye here out of the newsroom. We have a couple windows, and our news director's office, it is dark. It was completely dark, and now we're looking out and you actually can see it's starting to bright up a little bit. So even here in Connecticut, being able to see that, just
it's
absolutely.
Always bright in Tracy's office.
It's just that my line of sight is right over in that direction. I just noticed it was black, and I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah. It's the middle of the afternoon. It's just really cool.
Well, we want to check in with our crews across Connecticut. Our Kevin Geis is standing by in Stores. Kevin, we witnessed that eclipse pass back out of the U.S. What's the reaction there on campus?
Yeah, Kevin, Keisha, a lot of excitement here. It definitely dropped a few degrees. It was chilly there for a second. People here, we got a little bit of a cheer when we hit that sort of like 92%, right where we were supposed to be. And I want to bring in a grad student here, John. John, thanks for being with us today. You helped sort of put on this. You're volunteering for this. Talk to me about what it was like to sort of enjoy this experience with your fellow students.
Yeah, so I think it's a really nice, awesome event that we kind of put here together, and being able to bring my family and kind of explain some of the science and some of the cool things that we're seeing here with some not science people, and I think it's really awesome that a lot of people came out here to just see this sometimes once in a lifetime event,
Absolutely. And you're a grad student, so you're about to wrap up your time here at UConn. Tell me about what it was like to share that science with your fellow students who maybe you've never seen before, you've never talked to them, but they wanted to get engaged. They wanted to see what this was all about.
Yeah, right. I mean, a lot of people are just super interested on science, specifically space and astronomy, and I think that being able to kind of explain some of the stuff that I do is just a super exciting thing. And, I don't personally work on the sun, but I still work on all things the universe, and I think just excitement is there, and yeah.
Absolutely. And you have sort of a line of people behind us just looking to try to get a quick glimpse as it's sort of working its way out of sort of that partial peak that we saw down here. So are you hoping that people, get a little more engaged in science now that they've had a chance to, see a little bit of a glimpse into what you love so much?
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes people just need to see it to believe it, and I think the wonder and awe of this event should hopefully bring in a good amount of newcomers. And I think, with the people lining up to take some nice pictures for the gram or something, I think is inviting. And awesome outreach for that.
So I know I got a few pictures. I'll definitely try to post those on Facebook and Twitter so everyone can get a glimpse of what we saw here at UConn. Kevin, Keisha, we're going to send it back to you guys. A lot of fun here in stores as we wrap up the day for a partial solar eclipse.
The fun's just starting, Kevin Geis. That's watch party number one. There are going to be a lot of watch parties in stores tonight. There's a little basketball game tipping off tonight at 9:20. Great live reporting, and as always, from Kevin Geis. Kevin, thank you.
But before we get there, we've got to take it to Avon, where there's another watch party in action. Jolie Sherman standing by at the Talcott Mountain Science Center and Academy. Jolie is there with Snow Monster. Well, okay, so things have really cleared out there, Jolie.
They really have. People are now heading home, but I have to say that this area here was a really popular viewing spot. There were dozens of people on this platform here with their glasses on. They were all gazing up at the sun. I heard a few people too at 3:30 when we reached peak coverage. A few people just kind of stood back where they were watching the sun and just said, "Oh, this is amazing." It was so cool to be here with everyone. Again, they told us at 3:30, that's when we just saw a sliver of the sun, and it was so cool. Not only did we see the changes, but feel it too. It was much cooler out, and it was darker, kind of like when a storm comes in. So cool to experience that with so many people. We met this family from Hartford. We have David and Jay with us. What was this experience like for you guys today?
Amazing, quite amazing. It's just wonderful to see nature doing its thing naturally. Yeah, it was good to see it, really, and to see the outpouring of support from the people.
Yeah, dozens of people here, and it was almost like a show in nature. We had those glasses on. David, tell us, what was it like for you?
It was very fun experiencing an eclipse for maybe like my third time.
Your third time?
Yeah, about my third time. I feel like nature always has its thing, and just to see this is an amazing experience.
Yeah, what was your favorite part, would you say?
It was when we had the smallest sliver of the moon, the sun left.
Yeah, that was super exciting. Did you get an ice cream? I know there were food trucks here.
Ice cream.
No, maybe on your way out. Not yet. Emphasis on the yet. But again, people are leaving right now. You can see a crowd of people getting back on the bus. They're over down there, but throughout the day they were, throughout the parking lot, over by the food trucks again. Some people brought lawn chairs. They were ready for today. Definitely a celebration of such a very cool event in nature. For now, live in Avon, Jolie Sherman, NBC Connecticut News.
And Jolie was out there in Avon with Snow Monster wearing solar eclipse glasses.
If you didn't see it, it's pretty incredible.
Snow Monster's very adaptable. We found that out today. Anthony, you mentioned that the partial eclipse will be in place here in Connecticut till like 4:30.
Yeah, so while the main event is over, we're going to notice the sky become a little bit more bright and then back to normal. We still have a partial eclipse until about 4:37. So if you still have some time to kill, if you're outside, if you're going out and about a little bit, bring the glasses with you. We noticed the clouds started to move, and I noticed that when I walked outside a few minutes ago. That might be a little bit challenging, but you will still see just that little chunk of the sun eaten out until about 4:30, and then it will completely be over, and then we'll be back to normal.
Okay, well, let's see what's going on in Middletown right now.
Yeah, Jackie Post joins us again live from Wesleyan at the Van Vleck Observatory. Jackie, what's going on?
Hey there, Kevin and Keisha. Yeah, most of the crowd has basically dispersed pretty much right after that peak moment at 3:30. There was a lot of cheering. Of course, the students love to get rowdy, so there was a lot of cheering and excitement, and then everyone just kind of, went home. But I want to talk to one of the students here who's an astronomy major. Her name is Victoria. She's a senior, and she was super excited for this entire thing. So, Victoria, tell me, did it live up to your expectations, and how did you feel throughout?
Yeah, absolutely. Totally lived up to my expectations. I loved that everybody cheered. We were expecting about 1,000 people, and I think everybody really showed up, and that's really exciting for us. We love doing our outreach events, and having something this big and exciting happening was a great experience for everybody.
What was it like to study it for so long and then to actually see it happening? Take me through your emotions.
Yeah, it was a blast. I am not a solar astronomer, but, I work with all kinds of astronomers, and seeing them being really enthusiastic and excited is so awesome. And to be here, I'm only here for 4 years, so to have something so huge happen while I'm here is a big deal. So I'm excited.
All right. Thanks so much, Victoria. We appreciate you, and she's been super helpful throughout. So pretty much everyone is kind of dispersed and has wrapped it up, and we'll send it back to you guys, Kevin and Keisha.
All right. Thank you so much, Jackie Post. We've got to get final thoughts right now from Chief Meteorologist Ryan Hanrahan in Dallas, Meteorologist Bob Maxon in Lake Placid. We're going to bring them back, and we just want to get their final thoughts. Bob, if we can begin with you, your final thoughts on what you witnessed today.
I tend to be a talkative one, and I'm rendered speechless by not only the celestial event as it happened, but also the reaction of the people around me here at the, I'm here at this beautiful place, right? The White-Faced Club and Resort. There's people all over the place, and everyone is almost like exasperated. They're still catching their breath. Now, they were able to, of course, pour some champagne because it is a celebration after all. But my final thoughts would be what we talked about 15 minutes ago. We spend a lot of time arguing, studying, but also gathering behind the effort with climate change and how our Earth is going through changes. But we don't take a time to enjoy the beauty that we still enjoy every single day. And it shouldn't take a total solar eclipse to make us feel that way. It should be something we all take a moment every single day, whether it's cloudy and 50 and drizzle, sunny and 92 and you're at the beach in Westbrook, or if you're skiing in Vermont. You gotta take the time to enjoy what we have every day.
Ryan, we got about 20 seconds left. Final thoughts.
Sorry, Ryan.
After hearing that from Bob, I will not complain about how hot it is right now. But 100%, Bob is 100% right. It's one of the most incredible spiritual experiences that you can have, and it just brings everyone together, and it's for a good reason, and it's something cool and happy and fun. And I was so lucky to be here to see my second total solar eclipse, and on to 2044.
Absolutely. And then the next time our state will be in totality is even further away than that. We're talking 2079.
Yeah.
We thank you, each and every one of you, for going on this amazing journey of the 2024 solar eclipse with us.
Yeah, certainly hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We'll see you for much more coverage beginning at 4 o'clock. Have a great day, everybody. A memorable one it sure has been.